Start.
I don't know the phrase yet, I don't have it yet. Let art open your eyes. Welcome to Art on the Run. I'm in Vienna in Austria. I'm in the Judenplatz, and in front of me is Rachel Whiteread's Nameless Library. I'm going to tell you 5 things about this piece of sculpture which hopefully will help to make it a little bit more clear.
Yes.
Number 1. The context or the site. This is Judenplatz. You can see that Rachel Whiteread, it looks almost as if she's dropped the sculpture at one end of the square. It doesn't fit with everything else that's going on around here. All of the rest of the buildings in this square, it's quite a small square, are aspiring to be vertical. They're working upwards, whereas this is a very, very squat sculpture. Also as well that most of these buildings around here, because we are in Vienna, are classical. They're very grand, they're very imposing, and Rachel Whiteread's sculpture is very different in those terms too.
Yes.
Number 2, there's a definition thing going on here. I talked about this as a piece of sculpture and not as a piece of architecture. We're surrounded by architecture. The crucial thing to understand here is in terms of function. This is not a building that you can walk into. In fact, it's not a hollow building at all, and it's not technically a building, it's a piece of sculpture. Its function is not like the cafe over to my right for people to use, for people to walk into, for people to enter. It has a commemorative function, which means that it's there to remember something. Okay. Number 3, materials. Always look at what a piece of sculpture is made of, because the materials that a sculpture is made of can say important things. Or say.
Yes.
Number 3, materials. Always look at what a piece of sculpture is made of, because the materials that a sculpture is made of can say important things, or say something important about its meaning. This is made of concrete and reinforced steel. There is no decoration, it is not painted, it is not bronze, it is not a high status material. In fact, you could make an argument that concrete in the 21st century is a relatively cheap, relatively basic building material. Whiteread has used concrete to cast this massive 10 meter by 7 meter block. Very, very humble materials. Maybe a statement about humility, maybe a statement about permanence, maybe a statement about universality. It's available to everybody. Again, in Vienna, the emphasis is always on decoration, on making a building look classical, on painting it different colours. This is very, very different, and it refuses really to take part in the architecture that's surrounding it. Here in Judenplatz, but also in Number 4, you can see just down the side of Whiteread's sculpture here, she's using this motif of the book, and it's repeated many, many times. 20 books in a row on a shelf. They're spined very much against the walls so we can't see it. The concrete actually is used in quite a sensitive way, in that she's creating a sense of the leaves of the book. You can actually see that these are individual books, 20 in each row, repeated forms. Again, if you access this sculpture, if you come in through the back, it looks to be a squat geometric rectangle of repeated forms, and it's broken only by, hopefully what you can see just behind me, the doors to the front. The second thing, negative casting. I'm going to use a spoon to demonstrate what Whiteread is doing here, and in fact this is one of the first things that she used as a young sculptor working in England, which is where she's from. One of the first things that Whiteread cast was the empty...
Oh my god.
Wait, this is proud.
Yes.
Wait, was proud. Natural instinct in a library is to read the spines, to identify what is the book about, who is the author, whose story is this. Rachel Whiteread, by using these repeated motifs, is saying to you, this is about many people and you are not going to know any of their names. Second thing, negative casting. You can see that the space between the shelves actually doesn't exist, and Rachel Whiteread as a sculptor is interested in this idea of negative space, negative casting. I brought a spoon with me to hopefully demonstrate this. One of the first things that she cast as a young sculptor working in England was the indentation that's caused by a spoon. So if you can imagine, if I had some clay and I filled this dip in the spoon and then emptied it out, that would be a casting of negative space, in the same way that this is negative space. So 2 things, repeated motif, and the negative space.
Yes.
Number 5, iconography. Several things here that do give you a sense of what this piece of sculpture is about. First of all, we're in Judenplatz. There are, around the base of this sculpture, the names of the labour camps, the concentration camps and the death camps that Austrian Jews were in during the Second World War. There's the Star of David just in front of these two very imposing double doors, and I think that probably these double doors are the key to understanding Whiteread's piece of sculpture. Come just like that. There's a man coming. That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Follow me on Art on the Run.